what are we going to do in Costa Rica or Bali if we have here what we were looking for? So,
If you had the opportunity to live anywhere else in Venezuela or abroad, would you move or would you choose to stay living in the Pearl of the Caribbean?
For Venezuelans with foreign partners, which is common among the diaspora, you kind of have this hidden desire to come to Venezuela or even to return.
What do you like most about living in Margarita?
The peace and warmth of the people here can't be found anywhere else.
Look, it gives me goosebumps. I came for this, for the openness, love, camaraderie, and generosity of Venezuelans and the island. And that won me over. I mean, with love, it won my heart.
Anita, what will life be like in Margarita?
I would say it's very relaxed. In fact, I would say the island has its own time. A slower one where problems are handled more calmly, and I really like that.
Do you think we should move to Margarita Island?
I would say yes, and maybe not live there all the time, but spending long periods there wouldn't be bad for me.
My friends, we're starting a new video by asking people who live here on the island what it's like to live here.
What do they like most and least? But it won't just be an interview video. We'll also show you iconic places, delicious food, spectacular beaches, and much more to do in the Pearl of the Caribbean.
We'll start at the Moya brothers' place. We'd visited Margarita together for years and always told each other, let's stop. We never did it. Now we've ordered our arepas. I got one with chicken, yellow cheese, and fried plantains.
I ordered an arepa with seafood salad, pecorino cheese, and avocado.
That's crazy, isn't it?
But supposedly, they use pecorino cheese a lot here at Hermanos Moya, and they mix it with all the ingredients they have there. So I said, let's try it.
Let's start this video by eating something delicious. Super fast, I was impressed. The passion fruit juice is delicious.
Even when the restaurant is packed, they quickly take your order, seat you, and bring the arepa right away without charging you.
I regret not ordering mine with pecorino, but it's okay, I'll come back another time. It still looks delicious.
Little happy dance.
Wow, the chicken is so flavorful and the yellow cheese is great too. The fried plantain, an extra I hadn't tried before, is delicious.
Yeah, because don't think it's shredded chicken. No, it's not grilled chicken, but it's got some crazy seasoning. Look at this deliciousness.
Divine.
Look, wow, the crust is crunchy, avocado, pecorino, seafood salad. Here I go, look. Something that surprises me is that they make sure the fillings have an amazing seasoning and flavor. It's not really about the arepa shape, it's actually much thinner than those at any arepa place. As you can see, it's extremely thin.
I appreciate it.
I like it that way because at home you make an arepa, take out the dough, and if you're feeling chubby, you eat it with whatever's left.
But the thin arepa is the one that rules.
I always eat the dough, nothing can be left over. Your combination is really strange to me. How is it?
It's delicious.
This has octopus, shrimp, evil eye. I don't know what it has, but cheese, pecorino, and avocado.
Incredible mix. I've never ordered anything like this before. Usually, you can only add 1 or 2 ingredients, but here you can add up to 3. It's amazing.
Enjoy your meal.
Look, we have the privilege of talking with Oscar, one of the Moya brothers, and I want you to tell us, Oscar, what's the story? When was it founded? How long has it been around?
Here, I would say, is one of the best arepas on Margarita Island.
Thank you very much. We started young with our parents at the old Port La Mar market at the boulevard's end in '73.
Wow! So it's their 50th anniversary.
We celebrate 50 years on September 17th of this year.
Congratulations.
Your parents founded it, then what happened?
Yes, well, we started with them, like I said, since I was very young. I was only 8 years old. Afterwards, we moved to the Conejeros market in 2002 when Conejeros started to deteriorate. People would tell us, we like the arepas, but we don't want to go to Conejeros. We opened in the La Redoma shopping center. We opened in the College of Dentists in La Asunción, and this one where we are now, which has been open for 17 years. Yo, this was a plaza that was abandoned. We built this floor, put in the plants, fixed up the park, added lighting, and turned it into a point of reference. Locals and both national and international tourists who visit us.
And for those who don't know, it's just a few minutes away, less than 5 minutes from the entrance to Playa del Agua, so it's perfect. So you go to Parguito or Playa del Agua, and on the way, you stop to eat your arepa from the Moya brothers. What stands out in this restaurant?
Look, I think first having good products and having wonderful ingredients, because that's what we get from being on this beautiful island, like the Margarita chili pepper, which is unique in the world for its flavor and aroma, the Margarita tomato. Having very fresh seafood because of its free port status, having Dutch cheese, having French butter, high quality olive oil, and that.
Oscar, when did you say, or when did it cross your mind to mix those ingredients? Because to be honest with you, I had never eaten an arepa with seafood, salpicón, pecorino cheese, and avocado. But I got there and one of the vendors told me, I recommend that whatever you order, you add pecorino cheese and avocado. They're known for pork cracklings, but I arrived late since they usually finish by noon and it's nearly 1. But when did you say, let's try this crazy mix of ingredients?
That was my older brother Helio's idea. He made an arepa that had dogfish, pecorino, avocado, and olive oil. In fact, people really liked it. And currently we call it La Moya. And there are 2 Venezuelan restaurants in Spain that have it on their menu as La Moya.
Wow. Congratulations, congratulations. That's amazing. Honestly, I'm really delighted to have discovered this place and, well, a bit regretful that I didn't do it sooner.
But now that I'm here, Oscar, I want to take the opportunity to include your testimony.
From a video we're making about what life is like in Margarita, describe to me in a few words, what is it like living on this island for you?
Look, I say this island is magical and wonderful. Being in Margarita feels like being in a different Venezuela. That's why it's never crossed my mind to leave here, to leave Margarita. Because here, you can go out, you can walk around peacefully, you can take a stroll. As I said, its free port status always remains. When there was a lot of scarcity elsewhere, here there were always products and things like that.
Oscar, what do you like most about living in Margarita?
The peace and warmth of the people here can't be found anywhere else.
And if you could change something, or if there's something you don't like about living on the island, what would it be?
Look, I think there's nothing that needs to be changed here. What we need is to go back to what we once had. When we had an open skies policy and we were visited by tourists from all over the world. What we need here is to improve water and electricity services.
I met a Venezuelan woman who currently lives in Denmark, and she told us that 20 years ago there were weekly flights from from Denmark.
I didn't even know that, and I didn't expect it either.
Just from Germany, we had 5 weekly flights. Several flight attendants from those planes bought homes in El Cardón. When they vacationed, they came to Margarita and were our clients. Their husbands actually took them from here.
How wonderful. And Oscar, how have you seen tourism in recent years?
I mean, this 2023 compared maybe to 2022 or 2021.
Look, after the tough times of the pandemic and knowing how the country is doing economically, Margarita has been improving and positioning itself little by little. Thankfully, we now have improved national and international connectivity. When we have direct flights from Poland to Margarita, direct flights from Russia to Margarita, from Cuba to Margarita, from the Dominican Republic to Margarita, and now also from Colombia to Margarita. Unfortunately, these are charter flights. They help, but they're not what's going to get Margarita out of its current situation. Well, we need commercial flights for people to come on their own, to explore this beautiful island.
That's right. Well, honestly, in the 2 years I hadn't come to Margarita, I've seen improvements in the infrastructure. I've seen more investment, but above all, I've seen a better attitude in all the people of Margarita.
Because before, when you asked the same questions, people were maybe a bit hopeless, but now there's this fervor. It's like an excitement from everyone to revive tourism on the island.
And I truly appreciate that.
Oscar, I appreciate that for 50 years you've served breakfast to Venezuelans and visitors in the Pearl of the Caribbean.
Look, despite the country's current situation and how difficult the economy can sometimes be, but important things have been done. Like the sailing event this week, the people from the Zambit group, hotels have been built, beach clubs have been created. Look, I kind of like to travel, and I've visited many Caribbean islands, and I think we have the best island in the Caribbean. Regarding hotels, shopping centers, supermarkets, and pharmacy networks, no other island matches Margarita's conditions in those areas.
Well, just this week, 3 new famatosos are opening in Margarita Island. That's spectacular. And without a doubt, I've also had the chance to visit about 4 or 5 Caribbean islands, and I totally agree with everything you're saying, Oscar. I hope that this 2024 will be a year of more growth, more opportunities, and many blessings for your business and for the whole island.
Amen, I agree. This is a progress and unstoppable.
Thank you, Oscar.
Thank you all so much for being here.
We visited Sanville and ran into Alberto, a loyal follower. Thanks so much, Alberto, for watching our videos. And we wanted to take the opportunity to ask Alberto, how is life in Margarita?
What is it like living in the Pearl of the Caribbean?
Delicious. I mean, the island gives you what you can't experience in a city like Caracas. Usually, life is rushed and hectic, but here we live relaxed, especially in the mornings. Very relaxed. It has its pros and cons.
Of course.
Right? The pros, of course, are much better. It's very peaceful. You live more relaxed. No psychologists are present. But yes, honestly, life is really good here. The problem is during economic low season, which affects the finances of all Venezuelans, especially those from Margarita. But we always find a way to move forward, starting businesses or doing whatever it takes to get ahead.
Of course. How has tourism been in recent years?
Well, I can tell you about the beautiful Margarita. Santiago Mariño, 4 de Mayo, and the area existed. Magnificent. From 1992 on, it was the Caribbean's pearl. It still is, despite its shortcomings, so to speak, but it's improving a lot. We can't claim Venezuela is fixed, despite what some say.
Definitely not.
But there is an upturn. And it's evident when it comes to international tourism, although for us, the best tourism is domestic. The Venezuelan is the one who spends every last penny he has in his pocket and ends up in debt with everyone in the neighborhood.
That's right, that's right. What do you like the most? Well, you already told me it's very laid back and all that.
But if there's something you had to highlight about living on Margarita Island, what do you like the most?
And what would you change? If you had the power to change anything about the island, what would you change?
What I like are the beaches. Of course, number one, I think the best beaches in Venezuela are on Margarita Island. And if there was something you could change, look, I think very little, very little. Honestly, maybe a governor who fixes the potholes or makes sure there's water, better electric service, maybe that could help.
Basic services?
Basic services? It's improved the island a little, but really the beaches are the main point of the island.
And Alberto, if you had the chance to live in any other city in Venezuela or even in another country abroad, would you leave or do you prefer to stay here in Margarita?
No, I've lived in Maracaibo, Caracas, El Tigre, and about 8 or 9 cities in Venezuela, and the island really draws you in. Anyone who visits Margarita planning a short stay usually ends up staying.
That's what a lot of people have told us.
You drop anchor, I assure you.
Many people have told us that. Thank you, my brother, and continued success.
Thank you for bringing Venezuela's name to Caneral.
Thank you.
We keep exploring Margarita, and now we've come to La Guardia, a town that's pretty far from the rest of the island's tourist attractions. And I'm surprised to find this place, which is Casa Mejillón, an inn and restaurant run by Pilar. Pilar, can you tell us how this project began, what it's about, and what you offer here?
Well, this project started out of love. I came here in love. I came following someone. We decided to build this beautiful place you see here, stone by stone. Then, honestly, the community really took over me. The mussels kidnapped me. Literally, the mussels kidnapped me. Actually, at first, it was an inn with lodging and breakfast. And honestly, as an inn, it didn't go super well. People started coming and wanted to eat. And since I'm a cook, of course, you can eat. We wanted to eat more while they wanted dinner. And then people started inviting me and bringing people from outside. And in the end, things started heading more towards being a restaurant. And it's been a journey of 15 uninterrupted years. We've never stopped. And honestly, it's been a journey of meeting so many wonderful Venezuelans, so many lovely people, a journey of learning with this community. Above all, as someone from Caracas, since that's where I'm from, having learned everything that's there in that sea, and to have the blessing of being able to serve it at the table and share all this knowledge with people, honestly, it's very satisfying.
Pilar, besides all this amazing testimony you've given us, I want to ask you, for you, what is life like in Margarita? What's it like living on an island? You said you've been here 15 years. Are you originally from Margarita?
Were you from the city before coming here, or how was it?
Before this, I was Caraqueña, truly from Caracas, a city girl. Then I lived in Australia for 5 years. And while living in Australia, I became a country girl. I became someone of nature. Living there makes it impossible not to love nature. I returned to Venezuela. And well, I ended up here in this beautiful oasis, in this cove of La Guardia.
Wow.
And I say that I live on an island within the island because honestly, well, I've built myself a little bubble here. It's a little piece of heaven here, a little piece of paradise. And for me, living here is simply breathing pure air. Freedom is expansion, it's vibrant colors, it's waking up every day and seeing what surprise you'll have. I mean, it's discovering something new every day.
No, really, I hear you, Pilar, and I'm captivated. Because when we were arriving, we were saying the global positioning system is sending us down a dirt road. It's getting closer to the sea. I can't find the place. And suddenly, just as you describe it, an oasis. I mean, right in front of the lagoon with those incredible sunsets that you can see in the background right now.
And Pilar, tell me, what do you like the most and what do you like the least about living here in Margarita?
Well, what I like the most is the interaction with the fishermen. I enjoy it because these people have unimaginable ancestral wisdom no machine can match. You learn new things every day, and I appreciate their humor and generosity in sharing knowledge. I mean, for me, they have been a Bible of learning that has helped build this project. Yeah, what I like the least, if I'm honest, is that sometimes I feel a little lonely. Sometimes I really miss the social aspect. Many of my friends are no longer in Venezuela, so going to a theater isn't possible. I think it's something that has happened to all of us, and it's something that, well, let's say it's unprecedented in our lives. Yeah, we weren't counting on that, but well, there are always possibilities for meetings, for reunions. And that's always the good thing, that people come here like you, like many others. And well, this job allows you to meet a kind person.
I'm already looking forward to trying each one of your dishes and also taking a look at the inn. Because as soon as we came in, we went straight to record this interview before the daylight ran out. But you can see that all the spaces are decorated with so much love. I mean, like you said, every little stone placed on top of another next to it. I mean, it's an incredible detail. I want to ask a little question, Pilar, and I think I already know the answer, but I want to hear it from you. If you had the chance to go back to the city, to go back to Australia, or to move to another country, would you do it? Or do you prefer to stay here where you are?
I prefer to go around everywhere. This has been a little corner built with a lot of love, with many things. A very good part of my life is here. So to tell you that it would be easy for me to let go, I don't know, but I do have to admit, I'm a very sociable person. I like to go out, I like to meet people. I feel a strong attachment and love for my country, but I also consider myself a person of the world.
Well, I hope we see each other then, not just in Margarita, but anywhere else in the world.
Of course.
Let's eat and explore. Thank you, Pilar.
That the idea was to make the trip all the way here. It's so that you at least try something you've never eaten in your life. There's always something new to try like this. You're really lucky. Because it's a mollusk called cujareta. It's this one right here. On the island, when they say abalone or scallops, we don't have abalone. There are scallops, but there's no abalone here on the island. And what they serve you is cujareta. This is always eat and cook. The little kids who supply some of my things brought us these cucharetas yesterday. I tried them. If you want, try them too. This is amazing. This is better than a raw mussel, better than a raw oyster.
I must honor my last name.
You four, come try it.
He's Vieira, so...
Oh, okay.
I know it's not a Vieira, but look, it's ready. Look, and I'm new to these kinds of flavors. Wow. Wow. I mean, I don't usually eat oysters, chippy guacuco, or anything like that. And this is so fresh, so delicious. I loved it. Honestly, I really enjoyed it.
This dessert is called prison mousse because it comes from a recipe that was created for a cooking class in a prison. In a girls' prison, we worked with local ingredients, the most affordable ones, always trying to elevate their level. It's a pumpkin mousse with coconut milk and a pumpkin seed praline, so nothing is wasted. And, well, in the prison, we didn't use yogurt. Yogurt was something we added to serve it here at the restaurant. And it has a pity way. Who here on the island doesn't have a pity way to sweeten their life?
Look how beautiful. No pity way, little girl. I'm saving it for you.
Thank you.
It's creamy, thick. Wow. It has crunchy bits and the mousse is really thick and tasty.
You taste the pumpkin and the yogurt adds freshness.
Wow, what amazing contrast, really. I'm blown away by the food. I'm blown away by the food.
Well, you know what? The food here is kind of like life, full of contrasts, bitter, sweet, crunchy, soft, with ups and downs. Sometimes it works, sometimes not.
That's how it is.
Life then, well, that's what it's all about.
Thank you, Pilar.
My friends, it's really hard to describe the dining experience we had at this place.
I know I don't even have the vocabulary or the words to describe the art, the poetry. This was divine, and thank you, Pilar. You can really feel the love they put into every dish. And although I have to admit that there were some with very strong flavors because it's something you're not used to. And many of the dishes were practically raw, or maybe just with a few drops of lemon or something like that. Everything was exquisite, and I want to thank you again, not only for this delicious culinary proposal, because look, this is like a tapas menu, but in addition, they have another menu which is a set dinner, and if not, you can also order a la carte. So if you're not as adventurous as we like to be, you have different options, right, Pilar?
Of course, as long as you please call us and make a reservation because it's a carefully prepared meal and there are only a few of us in the kitchen. So we always ask that you please let us know if you want to come and we will gladly send you the menu. You can see the whole menu, see the prices, and decide if you want to come and try it.
Okay, how can they contact you? Pilar?
Contact us on WhatsApp at 0414 100 60417. Don't message us on Instagram as messages get lost there. Here we have WhatsApp and we will gladly send you the information.
Okay, ready.
Look, before you leave, I want to try this chocolate marquesa in front of you. Sorry, what were all the ingredients?
It has caramelized peanuts and orange peel in different textures so that it reminds us of Miramar. I think many of us grew up eating Miramar and
I miss it.
It's a flavor that's engraved in us and that we miss. So I want to see if we can fulfill the promise of Miramar in La Marquesa.
Let's see. Wow, 100%. You can't imagine how much I miss the Miramar, and this is very, very similar, even better. Miramar was a real treat. This is incredible art.
Well, thank you so much, really, and thank you for traveling around Venezuela, visiting places, and above all, supporting the work of all of us who are working to boost tourism and lift up the country. Amid so many hands, applause to you all. Thank you.
Thank you. We came to have breakfast at the empanada shop. I'm sure many of you already know this place because in our previous Margarita videos, we've highlighted it over and over again. And the story of Mrs. Saida and her husband is amazing. How? From a situation that for many could have seemed like a failure or something negative where there was no tomorrow, they decided to start this project, which I think is now a must-stop for everyone who comes to the island. But Mrs. Saida, in this video, I don't want to go too deep into the topic of the empanada shop, but rather talk more about what life is like on Margarita Island. Describe to me in a few words what life is like for you here on the island.
Well, for us, it's about work, and effort to get to where we are today. Having the business we have is because of work, dedication, and perseverance, being consistent in what we do. Honestly, I think one of the main things about this has been the perseverance of always being present in our business. Well, honestly, I'm extremely proud of everything that has to do with family. Well, until we achieved what we have today, which is the empanada shop and everything that has grown, which started in a small magazine stand.
That's beautiful and I can vouch for it. I mean, I've had the chance to come here about 5 or 6 times over the past 3 years. Whenever I visit Margarita, I come at least twice, and you, your husband, and your son are always here. I mean, I'm living proof that whenever you come here, the owners are always here taking care of you. And I think that's one of the main keys to success. Mrs. Saira, what do you like the most and what do you like the least? What would you change about living on the island?
What I enjoy most is the work, daily life, and change. I think nothing, well, I couldn't change anything because it's an island. We live by the seasons and I couldn't change anything. Well, there are very few things I don't like, to be honest. I mean, honestly, I don't have anything. I mean, no, I don't have anything to say that I don't like about the island, really. But everything, I mean, I like everything about the island.
I think I know the answer to the next question, but I'll ask it anyway.
If you had the opportunity to live anywhere else in Venezuela or abroad, would you move or would you choose to stay living in the Pearl of the Caribbean?
Well, yes, I've kind of thought about it, but mainly because of the business.
Of just moving to the capital, to Caracas, but with plans to expand, to open another branch in Caracas.
Not until we finish everything at the empanada shop because there's still work left here.
I wouldn't leave just yet, but if I were to go anywhere, it would be to the capital if the opportunity comes up.
Okay, thank you very much for this wonderful project and for the interview, and I wish continued success for the empanada shop. If you move to Caracas, we'll be your main customers.
God willing, we hope that's the case. Thank you.
Thank you.
We arrived at Playa El Agua on a sunny, beautiful day, and I'm with great company, Alvaro and Chris. And please, I want you to tell us about your project.
Nomads Inn is a multi-platform creator building a community to inform and support digital nomads, helping them make Margarita their top Caribbean destination. What do you think about that mission?
Incredible. Actually, I feel like it's an island that's very well prepared and located to welcome a lot of digital nomads because besides that, we have really good internet. Chris, please tell us a little bit about your story. I understand that you lived outside of Venezuela for a while and then came back. Tell us about that. What made you leave and then what made you come back?
Well, yes, I lived for 8 years in Los Angeles, California. Initially, I always worked in online sales. I had my office and kind of my warehouse, so to speak, where we made products in Los Angeles. But because of the pandemic, we had to change our business model and make everything digital. We switched to print on demand, similar to premium demand or drop shipping. And this gave us the freedom to say, well, now we want to live more in Los Angeles. We can make the decision to live somewhere else. At that point, we had decided to go to Costa Rica, then Valencia and Bali. Those were our 3 options.
Wow.
That's it. Our passport expired because we'd lived in Los Angeles for 8 years without returning to Venezuela to renew it. The embassy was already closed. They shut it down. So we just said, well, let's go to Venezuela. We renewed the passport, but while we were waiting for the passport to be ready, let's go to Margarita and wait there because we've always had a lot of affection for the island. So nothing, we came, spent a month, but the passport was ready. We spent another month. The passport was still there in Caracas. until, well, we realized, at least I realized that I could work here. I could manage my business from here without any problem. The internet speed was perfect for what I was doing. I also realized, at least Playa Agua is an example, that it was beautiful. I could connect with nature. I found a Montessori school for my daughter close to nature, which made a connection. So it was like everything was perfect. So I thought, why go to Costa Rica or Bali when we already have what we want here? Sorry, I went on a bit.
I feel like Margarita is like a magnet, and if you want to have a quieter life and you come here, it's hard to leave.
Look, most of us who have had the chance to stay in Margarita for a while never really end up leaving. We come and go often, but stay connected, as this place in Venezuela has a special energy.
Today we discussed what word defines Margarita, and I chose resilience.
The island has faced tough times, but now it's experiencing a resurgence. Okay, it's not just about business. Everyone here knows we must provide our best service and see ourselves as part of an ecosystem that showcases its beauty, without ignoring the difficulties that may arise along the way, but working together to move it forward and make Margarita the place that continues to be the favorite spot for Venezuelans to enjoy and have a good time.
Alvaro, what can you say to all the nomads who are watching us from anywhere in the world about Margarita? And how can you attract them to spend some time here working and enjoying our natural landscapes? Because I am particularly in love.
I can tell them it's a Caribbean island with year-round summer. It also has excellent internet connection, beautiful women and handsome gentlemen, for the ladies and for all tastes. And it also has a variety of services like places to eat, places to stay according to your budget and what you can afford. It offers a variety of ways to enjoy yourself, not only for short vacations or a few days of relaxation, but also for extended stays. It's one of the best destinations in the Caribbean to experience, and well, there's a reason why we're here too.
There's space and a budget for everyone, which is why I love Margarita. If you had to say, but what do you like most about this island, what would it be?
Wow, you're making it hard for me. Well, you know, one of the things that connected me the most with the island, I love running, I love everything related to sports, and I found a really active sports community here on the island as well. People don't know it exists. There's a community of runners, cyclists, and of course surfers and kite surfers. So that connection of doing sports and at the same time being connected with nature is one of the things I love the most. I mean, waking up in the mornings and going out for a run near the sea. At least to the Caracola, a lot of people know the Caracola. It's like, wow, it's like living in paradise, eh?
We were just discussing that. Imagine working here in the Caribbean and at the same time surfing or climbing the mountains or going diving. Because right behind us, for example, we have Los Frailes, which is a spectacular island where you can go diving. In fact, we documented it for another video that you can go watch. What do you feel here? Because not everything obviously is good. What do you think could be improved on the island? What is it that you don't like so much?
We needed to improve international connectivity.
Okay.
I think the availability of more affordable options should also improve, that's for sure. We've been explaining to service providers that all our services must adapt to the new kind of tourism.
It's becoming increasingly understood.
And I believe there should be even more unity among the authorities. So you don't feel like you're changing drastically as you move around the island. I'd say those three things. But in general, I can tell you that, among other benefits, to add to what I mentioned earlier, this is the safest place to be and live in Venezuela for tourism, and that's something all of us who travel the world value a lot.
And I truly value that. Margarita still feels like a small town. Everyone knows each other, it's family-oriented, and people stroll the streets without rushing. So if you're in a hurry, leave an hour earlier. Because people here are very relaxed, and I love that. That's part of the charm of this island.
When Alvaro gets here from Caracas, he's all hyped up, and I have to say, hey, slow down, we're in Margarita. I'll keep you in check.
It happened to us. I tell him, it's fine, we're the ones in a hurry, not them. Guys, where can people contact you? Where can they follow you? All the nomads who are watching you to come to Margarita to plan cool things.
Well, you can follow us on Instagram at nomadsgoin.
Our website is nomadsin.com. There you'll see our efforts to make the island the top digital nomad destination in the Caribbean.
And your personal social media accounts, which many people will likely start following.
At Alvaro RPK, that's mine.
at Chrisus Kategi.
Because they both make really good videos, so you can go and check out their profiles too. They're really cool. Well, thank you so much. Let's hide from the sun a little bit. It's really strong, and we'll keep exploring this beautiful island.
Tell me, Jose, in a few words, what's life like in Margarita?
Life in Margarita, to start in the morning. Well, breakfast with a Casa empanada. That's the best thing here on Margarita Island. And then you come to surf in this beautiful place we have right here in front until the afternoon, and you walk over there to different beaches. Here there are 46 beautiful beaches across the island, including Caribbean beaches, Zaragoza, La Bonita, Parguito, Manzanillo, and El Tirano.
What do you like most about living here in Margarita, Jose?
What I love most here are the beaches. People get excited to visit other countries, but Margarita is beautiful and the sun shines all day.
You told me you've been selling oysters on the beaches since you were 8 years old.
Jose, tell me about those golden years of tourism. What were the most epic times?
Where was international and national tourism highest? I don't know if you have any stories you remember with nostalgia and wish those times would return, right?
Well, here I got to know flights from Chatham, from Canada, from Australia, from Iberia, from Poland, from all the countries. The Santiago Marino airport struggled to keep up due to the overwhelming number of tourists. You'd arrive at 9 in the morning and couldn't find a seat because of all the tourists. Both foreigners and Latin Americans and Caribbeans here on Margarita Island.
How beautiful, Jose. Tell me something. Is there anything you don't like? Is there anything you would change about life here in Margarita?
As a Venezuelan, I wouldn't change anything about this beauty. It's just too beautiful. I'm still here, many have left, I've stayed, and I keep fighting to live in this paradise. If you had the opportunity to go to another country or another city in Venezuela, would you do it? No, I stay, I die, and remain here.
How much is a dozen oysters?
$4 a dozen.
Ah, okay, you heard it. $4 a dozen for oysters.
Okay.
Don Jose, let's finish up with a brief message for everyone watching.
Inviting them to come to Playa del Agua, Margarita Island.
Come to Playa del Agua, great security, great atmosphere, great deals, and look at this beauty, which is the best thing in the Caribbean.
Evening falls as we remain at Playa del Agua with two people I deeply admire and care for. Here we have Heidi, and over here Pablo. Pablo, you're a psychologist, right?
Yes.
And Heidi, are you a coach? And they do amazing spiritual work. They do family constellations. I've never discussed it since it's hard to explain, but I highly recommend experiencing it at least once. You live here in Margarita, and we want to know about your experience on the island. But first, tell us what you were doing before coming to Margarita and how you made the decision to return to Margarita.
Wow. First of all, thank you for this wonderful opportunity to talk about this topic with so many amazing people who I know follow you and trust what you share with them. I'm Venezuelan. Pablo is Argentinian. We met in Spain, where I lived for 15 years, and Pablo for 8. Our children were born there, and during the pandemic, we moved to the island right in the middle of it with 2 kids, 2 dogs, and 7 suitcases.
How did you decide, and what made you choose to live in Venezuela? What went through your mind when you made that choice?
Yes, well, it was a calling from the soul because we were there, and honestly, we were doing very well in Spain. We enjoyed it a lot, but we felt like a cycle had already ended. And for a while, we had been deciding where to go. At one point, I told Heidi, why don't we take a month off? We've been working a lot. And I said, what if we go to Venezuela or Margarita? You'll meet people there. I don't know. I've never been to Venezuela. And Heidi says, well, I'll think about it. The next morning I wake up at 8 and Heidi says she already bought the tickets.
A bit impulsive, or did something happen with that other thing?
No, because for Venezuelans with foreign partners, which is common in the diaspora, you secretly want to come to Venezuela or return, but whenever the desire appears, you quickly dismiss and erase it. Because of course, I didn't feel like I could be the one to take the initiative to tell Pablo, let's go to Venezuela. And since it came from him, it was like, I was in shock. And I said, no, I have to buy these tickets right now before he changes his mind. He had never been here. Imagine, never.
But that's how it was. And between coming here for a month on vacation, which was the initial idea, even from just a 1-month ticket to moving here to live, only a week went by. I mean, in just a week, talking to people here, hearing about what life is like here, with our desire to leave Spain for somewhere else, we asked ourselves, what is really keeping us here in Spain? And honestly, well, our friendships, of course, but we felt like we wanted to take another step and really, from the heart. For me, for example, meeting Venezuelans was a turning point because I traveled a lot around the world and met people from many places. Meeting Heidi introduced me to her Venezuelan friends, and I wondered where they all came from.
In a good way, right?
In a good way, in a good way. Because it was like, no. When I met Heidi and I started to fall in love with her, I was coming from a previous infatuation with another girl. I said I don't want to fall in love again and then face reality because infatuation is just so fanciful, right? And I said, I'm going to start observing her with my feet on the ground. So of course, since Heidi worked in an office in front of where she lived, we started spending time together very quickly. Every day I would go and watch how she interacted with her co-workers to see if she...
Very analytical, very analytical.
Totally, like a psychoanalyst, to see if she was real, I mean, if what she was with me was genuine, even when we got married 9 months after meeting each other, because that's just how we are, we move really fast. The first people I thanked were her co-workers because they showed me the real Heidi, the same person she was with me. But it's like I confirmed it, and then I realized it wasn't just Heidi. It's that thing Venezuelans have, wanting to live, being positive, that if a problem comes up, they either solve it or just say, well, that's it. And that will to live, right? Well, I come from Argentina, and I haven't seen that in other people, and that's why, for me, since I'm a people person, let's say, coming to live in Venezuela and coming to live in Margarita was a certainty. It was a sure step. Why? Because I knew that in Venezuela there are Venezuelans. So I knew I was going to be fine, and honestly, that's how it was.
I'm curious, what did those Venezuelans tell you when you arrived on the island that made you make the final decision? Like, look, yes, I'll stay.
Most Venezuelans, both in Spain and here, often ask, what are you doing here? How can you? Many wanted to leave and many abroad didn't want to return. But I think it's like what Heidi says. When you talk to an Argentine, a Brazilian, a Chilean, or another Latin American who's in Spain, and you ask them if they want to go back to their country, they all tell you no. It's a resounding no. Now, when you ask a Venezuelan, the Venezuelan says no. But you see a little tear of nostalgia start to fall here, and you realize how much they love their country, and that's really different from any other country. In Venezuela, like I said, for me, what it has is its people. The Venezuelans, besides the fact that it may have beautiful landscapes or gorgeous beaches, but the energy that Venezuelans have is incredible. It's incredible.
I love it, I love it, I love it. Well, that's how I feel. I also think many people left even though they didn't really want to, which is another issue, right?
Of course.
Because there are people who say, no, I want to study, I want to live my professional life in another country, and that's totally valid. But when you leave without really wanting to, as soon as someone offers you even the slightest chance to come back, you take it without thinking twice. And after living here, what have you liked the most? You think, wow, this is exactly what I wanted. Margarita has it for sure.
I think it's the deep connection with nature. Well, my kids just walked by. For them to grow up like this, around the sand, without it needing to be a big plan. I mean, everyone who lives here just carries beach toys, a towel, and a swimsuit in the back of the car. I mean, so that in 10 minutes you can be living this simple life. That they are growing up, well, because we created a school, and that they are growing up like this. With all our friends, with Ari and Gabo, whose daughter is growing up their kids with ours. We've built a beautiful tribe here, and that feeling of being like family with this simplicity, this naturalness is unique.
I'm sure this is the best amusement park for kids.
When we arrived, of course, it was a big shock coming here from Europe, where everything works over there, and here, well, we arrived. And there was the issue with the gas stations, the power going out, and some things you just couldn't find. And for me, since I'd never been here before, The first week was really shocking, but I remember the Friday of that first week we were here, a friend of ours, which is also like, you know, if you're a friend of my friend, you're my friend too, you know?
It happened to us. It happened to us.
Right, and she took us to a place here, a really nice place where really nice people get together, and getting there and finding people like us with the same philosophy of life. The owner of the place, who I became very good friends with, his name is Chichi. We arrived, he introduced us to people and said, hey, what are you going to do tomorrow? I don't know, nothing. We just got here. Why? No, come to my wife's birthday. We're all going to celebrate. And it was like, look, I get goosebumps. This is what I came for. I came for for the openness, love, camaraderie, and generosity of Venezuelans and the island too. And that for me, well, it won me over. I mean, with love, it won my heart.
You raised an important point about Margarita's areas for improvement. Everyone has things to work on, both personally and in their environment. What things would you improve or change about the island?
Honestly, I really like living here, but what would I change?
Or improve?
I don't know.
I think electricity has been the main unresolved issue. Because to tell you about the water, it's always been an arid island. I mean, water here is very valuable, let's say. So saying that water, that doesn't have to do with stages of, thank you, my love. Water, I think it's something that's a resource that's taken care of here, and there's an awareness about that in the idiosyncrasy, besides that of the islander. But the thing is, the internet, for example, I mean, there have been a lot of new companies. It has improved a lot. There are a lot of people like us who work online, and we're doing really well. So in that sense, the island has already achieved it. Maybe electricity is still the big challenge because there have been improvements, but it's nothing like when we arrived 3 years ago compared to what's happening now. But it's still like the big step for like the big quantum leap that the island is missing.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your whole story with the people who follow us. We're going to enjoy the beach a bit longer and more interviews are coming, so stay tuned.
And now we're here with two people I love very much, Gabo and Ari.
Especially for me, she's been like a teacher, a grounding force during all this time with social media. She obviously had 100 years more experience than I did. I'm not calling you old, just kidding.
It's fine. She had more experience, that's fine.
Obviously, and they moved to the island 3 years ago, basically in 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. I want to know, how did they make that decision?
If it was because of this craziness that happened in the world, well, here it is. You know?
Did they decide more quickly during the pandemic?
We originally planned to go to Carigua.
Literally?
Yeah, we thought about that before having kids.
No, actually, first both of us had plans with different partners earlier in our lives about living in Margarita. So in both of our lives, at some point when we were younger, we thought about living in Margarita. Then living together and taking trips, traveling with my mom and all that story. It was like the idea of living somewhere else started to come up. And when Rio was born, I think it was like, yes, we want to live somewhere else in contact with nature. We thought about La Carigua.
What interested you about La Carigua?
Well, because La Carigua is Portuguese, it's beautiful, and also there's a lot of Portuguese prosperity, and there's
a lot of fresh water.
It has many rivers very close by, and it's very close to Mérida. It's very close to Yaracuy, very close to Marcon, and also close to the central region. So it was like a strategic point that matched the life we wanted to live, which was a life of travel and nature. But well, then we forgot about that, so...
I mean, I think the beach calls in a very primal way.
Yeah, we both had a very Margaritania phase in our lives. Ariana even once invested in an apartment and then gave it to her mom and then to two siblings who lived here in Margarita. And I used to come here to work as a teenager, the Senior Frogs, you know, so we had a connection. And coming here to do shows and sharing with the Margarita culture. By immersing ourselves and spending time at the beach, we realized Margarita offered many things that didn't matter much to us.
I want us to talk a little about that while we keep walking. What's it like to raise a child here in Margarita? Well, you already have two, but it's pretty much the same after the first one.
I think things get easier. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You were wrong. You're wrong a lot. Look, we can can only say that it's cheating. Raising your children with Margarita is cheating because what Margarita offers you is freedom. But at the same time, it's a very tasty mix with a certain civilization, with art, with traditions, where you can one day take your children to the movies. They spent every morning at the beach, wild and sandy, even up here.
I often share an important example with friends, especially those in the city with kids. At 4 p.m. in the city, you're swamped by work, WhatsApp, Instagram, and emails. By 4 p.m., it's already go, let's do it. In the city, you have parks. Take a kid there. They'll have fun, but won't automatically let go of things in the park. What do you do as a parent? You watch the kid for 3 minutes, check your phone, then go back to WhatsApp, Instagram, or email. Here, when it's 4 in the afternoon and the kid wants energy and you're tired, we come to the beach.
At the beach, do you think I want to use WhatsApp or check email?
No, we're together. Going to the beach is a family activity. When you take the kids to the park, you let them loose in the park and they go off to do their own thing. That's nice, cool, and fine. We do that in Margarita too, and it's great to have more opportunities. But coming to the beach means being all together. And well, personally, for me, the shelter, the embrace that nature gives you, the energy that it creates in us and in our children, for me, it's absolutely worth everything.
How has the evolution of living in Margarita been over these 3 years? I mean, beyond our friendship, I'm a huge fan of your letters, your content, everything. I went through the tough moments, let's say, to get internet at the beginning. And now, I think Margarita has one of the strongest fiber optic vibes with the highest bandwidth in all of Venezuela.
Or at least just like the main cities, and above all, you who practically live on social media.
How was that process?
I think it's nice to know. It's nice to grow up with the island, you know? It's nice. It's nice. We came to Margarita because it's precious to us. It feels inherently abundant. When we saw the first sardine catch, we said, this is abundance. It's something so simple, so small. How it creates life, how it brings joy. That's what abundance is. When we climbed the mountains to Margarita, that was the other part. At least for me personally, it was like, it's not just the beach. I mean, there are mountains with rocks, with trees, and that's abundance. So all those other things that we call, well, civilization, it's also starting to improve, and having seen how it started to get better. Well, there's so much abundance and it's beautiful. And you celebrate it with the island because it's good for us, but it's good for everyone.
There are other things that, well, are just impossible to ignore and go hand in hand with the decision. We decided to stop living in the capital of the country, where everything works a little better. Here, without a doubt, the power outages at first are very tough, and access to fresh water is almost impossible. But since we're just moving in and we already know the situations that were happening, we know how to adapt. And besides, we understand what the reward or the price is for understanding that. Because for us, well, the power went out for 8 hours. I just go to the beach, you know, because that's why I came. I came to be close to the beach. There are a lot of things that have improved a lot, but we're still living on an island in the Caribbean, very far from the capital. So there are a lot of things that happen. Now I'm in a gas group, Club Gas, to get gas.
But I think you learn to live in gratitude because the island gives you so much more than, let's say, what it asks of you.
What is the best thing about living in Margarita for you? What do you like most about your life? I've already noticed, a lot of gratitude and abundance. And honestly, your words are truly inspiring. In fact, I have Valerie on the other side of the camera, and I'm sure her mind is saying, we're moving, we're moving, we're moving, we're moving.
But again, if you had to choose just one thing of what you like most about living in Margarita, what would it be?
I have a good answer. The weather. Because the big difference between not living in the capital and living on the coast. It's the time in which things happen. At first, many friends from Caracas warned us that here in Margarita, everything was slower. And for us, it was like, okay, that's why we came. And for us, at this stage, we're living our family life with
small children, having the possibility to have more time to be with them is the key. It's our main reason.
Well, because children's time is like that. Children have a different sense of time. And the time that Margarita has given us, that the Caribbean has given us, is much more like the time of our children. To be able to coordinate our time and live in a more harmonious way, I feel that in the city, everything is constantly pushing you out of that time that you want to try to fill with serenity. Yes, and that's what I like most.
Love the beach. I mean, the beach is the best part.
Well, Gabo already mentioned to me in the previous question several of the difficulties that, or rather the price of maybe living in Margarita, like the power outages, the water shortage, or even the gas. But setting aside these services, which I think is like...
Which, by the way, all of that can be solved. Sorry. I mean, we have water, so these kinds of things really do get taken care of.
Totally. But if there's something you could change about the island or something you really don't like about the island, again, taking away this kind of services, I think the most common answer for people is like, please improve the services. That's what we need. Aside from that, would you change anything about Margarita Island?
More flights, more connectivity. There are some, it's improved, but it was much better many years ago. And the only thing the island needs is for people to come. We on the island are ready to welcome you. We're ready with enthusiasm. We're ready with love. We are ready in terms of infrastructure. And the more people come, the better things will go for the island. And the infrastructure will keep getting better and better. The only thing Margarita really needs is more connectivity, because the business owners in Margarita want to be on board. And it just needs people to be able to come.
Look at that sunset. Look at that sunset, right? I mean, incredible. I turned 360 degrees looking everywhere.
Look at the moon. I mean, it's gorgeous.
We came to see the second phase of La Vela that just opened, so everyone coming to Margarita in December will be able to enjoy this new side. We're in the old one because it's quieter, but the new one is great. We're here right now with Luis. Luis is a marketing expert. You studied that, right?
I studied international trade, but I like the digital marketing part more.
Oh, look, that's something we didn't know. And we want to know a little bit about what life is like here for you. What's it like living here in Margarita?
It's a bit complicated because it's a mix of many feelings. But if we try to put life in Margarita into a few words, I think it's peaceful. I mean, it's actually peaceful and it opens up a lot of job opportunities. Because you have a mix of many cultures. It's not as closed off as in some other countries or often in the country's interior. You only see one side of the coin. Here you can freely talk with people from other countries. And somehow they inspire you to say, well, we can move forward. I mean, you can work, you can study. Well, maybe not here. Maybe you don't like a university, but there's the internet. Now that the internet changed everything in Margarita.
There are many online options. We often mention Triple Gem in our stories as a great one. But anyway, I wanted to ask you, are you from here, from Margarita? Were you born here in Margarita?
No, I was born in the United States.
Okay.
When I was little, my mom came to Venezuela, where her European parents were already living and working.
Okay.
Ever since they brought me here, people always ask, well, why did you come back? And I say, well, I didn't come here on my own. I was brought here. Nobody asked me.
Exactly.
But after growing up, after wanting so much to love this country, I feel like there are a lot of possibilities. I have traveled, and I think that if there are people who can travel and somehow bring back experience or motivation, at least.
Yes.
And I think I value that with many people whom we support here in the company that I founded and developed here. And I think that everyone decides not only where to live, but also where to add value. And I think I add value here, and well, I like it.
That's very nice when you realize that in the end, what you study and what you do has to serve the people around you.
Correct.
And what do you like most about living here on the island?
What I like the most, I think, is a bit of the mix between the informal and the formal.
Okay.
And I think that mix of the Caribbean and also that mix of productivity, I think that's what I like the most.
You can wear a suit to an important meeting, then head straight to the beach.
And nothing happens.
And nothing happens.
No, and you can come from the beach to the meeting and say, excuse me, I was at the beach this morning, and no, don't worry, I'll go later when I leave. I mean, it's not something that takes you away from what you like to do. And I think that's something positive, that it mixes everything. It mixes a lifestyle. It also mixes how productive it can be. And I think that's something positive about the island.
Besides, there's a saying that goes, life is better at the sea, and I'm not one to say otherwise.
Yes, exactly.
It's definitely better, and well, obviously not everything is perfect. What things don't you like about Margarita?
I feel like it's how isolated we are. Sometimes it can even be negative. We just mentioned that many people visit the island in Venezuela. It's like they don't end up coming to Margarita because it's still kind of separate, when it has the potential to be one of the main destinations in Venezuela.
Well, even so, they told us that it's one of the few places that receives flights every day.
Yes.
Almost no Venezuelan state gets daily flights, but Margarita does, even though I'm not an expert. And this is nothing compared to the number of flights we used to receive before and the number of cruises that used to come here to Margarita. So yes, without a doubt, we need more tourism. So we hope to go. And just so you know, this isn't the first time we've heard this. You're not the first one to tell us this. Many people say we want more visitors in Margarita, and opening more flights is necessary for that.
I feel like one of the things that used to have a negative impact before was insecurity, and it has improved a lot.
Okay, what do you think happened so that the insecurity improved?
If I tell you from a statistical point of view, I don't think there's an answer.
Yes, I think there's no answer. But it's a question we get asked a lot. But what did they do? I don't know.
Well, I have my opinion. I don't know if I can say it on camera, but I feel like the unity of the people who have come out, I don't know if that can be shown, but I feel...
Here we are, an open channel.
I feel that...
Without censorship?
I feel that...
Every day without censorship.
That has been positive.
No doubt, it's a theory that could be...
A correct theory.
It can be part of...
Correct. Measures have also been taken, at least especially in Margarita. There are many government measures being taken at the project level that are making it possible to at least project economic growth. Growth not only for a few companies, but for all sectors, from tourism, from construction, real estate.
Luis, what would you say to someone who hasn't visited Margarita or who hasn't been to Margarita in a long time to encourage them to come?
I would tell them to try Margarita, not just as a tourist destination. Come here with a work plan for those who have the possibility to work remotely. Try it out. Try the possibilities, try the internet, try the safety, also try the prices, see if it works for you. And I think that this incentive will make the people who make business decisions here see that it's not just a theory, it's a real possibility. Bring in another type of audience, another type of tourism, people who work and can live here, like Valley does. There are too many tourist destinations that live off of that.
Just today, we were talking with Alvaro and Chris about digital nomads and how the island is getting ready to welcome that kind of tourism, which in the end is very valuable because they spend long periods in the country, invest a good amount of money, and well, it benefits everyone who lives here a lot.
Yes, perfect. So in 2 words, come and try. I think that's the best advice there is, and everyone should make their own decision based on their experience.
Before we leave, Luis was telling us about a social project he's involved in, and we really found it very interesting. Because I think it goes hand in hand, or it's a concept very similar to what I dream of doing in Petare in Caracas. But anyway, Luis, tell us a little bit, or tell the camera and everyone who's watching us, what is this project about?
We work with young people. I know when I was young, I was helped too, and I believe you have to give from what you receive. I'm supported by a foundation that has a foundation. It's a Christian-based organization, and I believe that all Venezuelans, everyone living in this country, should do the same in a way to sow positivity. What we have received or what we would have liked to receive. We support these kids by providing for their needs and teaching them to have a vision. Success means a Venezuela still to be built. The one we have, we must enjoy ourselves, and also we can build a better Venezuela if we open their minds and help them however we can. We support their needs. We show them they can build a Venezuela. There are projects that can be dreamed of. There are still professions. Those who want to study education can study education. We don't need to focus solely on the 3 current income generating areas for Venezuela. And that's basically what we focus on, is helping to give them a broader vision of what Venezuela can be.
I've always said that with communities, with the most vulnerable children, you have to teach them how to fish rather than just give them the fish. And I know this is like a saying, but when you bring it into real life, it's better to teach them a profession or bring in people with skills who can make an impact in these communities. Beyond simply giving them food or giving them things they might need. Because when the people who are giving to them are no longer there, or for whatever reason they stop being able to give, then those people are going to be left in limbo. And I find this very interesting, that in one way or another, they educate these people above all to dream, to be able to create a country, to build and educate themselves so that later on they can use that knowledge to generate their main source of income.
Yes, that's right. I agree. It's about helping them dream, not just in a fleeting way, but by showing knowledge is available. You can achieve it, there are no limits. The only limit is the one you set for yourself. But we can share our love for knowledge with them. I teach them to aspire, even though I don't know what they'll do, so they learn. We teach them at the foundation where we work. We teach them to love knowledge, to discover whatever they want to discover, and to have the opportunity to educate themselves and pursue professional careers, which are very much needed to keep building this country.
Thank you, Luis, for that beautiful work, for choosing to work here in Venezuela, even though you have American papers that millions of Venezuelans dream of. And I hope that all the projects you're working on right now become 10 times more successful than I'm sure they already are. And so, my friends, after several days of asking vendors on the beach, digital nomads, business owners, employees in shopping malls, and a bunch of other people, we have concluded our interviews about what life is like in Margarita. But I would like it if you, who are watching this video and live in Margarita, could answer them for me down below. What is it like for you to live on this island? What is the best and worst thing about living in Margarita? If you had the chance to leave, would you take it or stay? Tell me, because I'm interested in reading what you have to say. We were able to compile a series of interviews, but it's a tiny portion of the number of minds of people who live in the Pearl of the Caribbean. With this, not only does this video come to an end, but also our journey through Margarita.
We hope to come back very, very soon, and for you, we'll see you in a couple more days with a new video.
If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It really helps us. That's it. Leave a like. See you.